Hare Krishna. So we're continuing with the path of perfection by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host Sulalita Devidasi, and let's dive in. This is 8th chapter, Failure and Success in Yoga, page number 115. In this world, everyone is serving the senses, but people are not satisfied. No one can be satisfied because the senses are always demanding more gratification. And this means that we are constantly having to serve the senses. In any case, our position is as servant remains the same. It is a question of whether we want to be happy in our service. It is the verdict of Bhagavad Gita and the other Vedic scriptures that we will never be happy trying to serve our senses, for they are only sources of misery. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays to be situated in Krishna's service. He also prays, Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitamam vishami bhavam budau kripaya tava pada pankaja Sthita duli sadrisham vichintaya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 20.32, Shikshashtaka 5. Quote, O son of Maharaja Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Unquote, Shikshashtakam, verse 5. This is another way of asking Krishna to engage us in his service. Loving devotional service can only be rendered to the personal form of Krishna, Shyama Sundara. The impersonalists emphasize the Virat Rupa, the universal form, exhibited in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But it is stated therein, 11.21, that the demigods are very much afraid of this form, and Arjuna says, Adrishta purvam hrishitosmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyathitam manome Tad eva me darshaya deva rupam prasida devesha jagannivasa. Quote, after seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed for fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, Krishna or Shyama Sundara, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. Unquote, Bhagavad Gita 11.45. There is no question of loving the Virat Rupa. If Krishna comes before you in the Virat Rupa, you will be so filled with fear that you will forget about love. So don't be eager like the impersonalists to see the Virat Rupa form. Just render loving service to Shyama Sundara, Krishna. We have more or less seen Krishna as the Virat Rupa during wartime in Calcutta in 1942. There was a siren and we ran into a shelter, and the bombing began. In this way we were seeing that Vishvarupa, and I was thinking, of course, this is also just another form of Krishna, but this is not a very lovable form. A devotee wants to love Krishna, love in his original form, and this Vishvarupa is not his original form. Being omnipotent, Krishna can appear in any form, but his lovable form is that of Krishna, Shyama Sundara. Although a man may be a police officer, when he is at home, he is a beloved father to his son. But if he comes home firing his revolver, the son will be so frightened that he will forget that he is his beloved father. Naturally, the child loves his father when he's at home, like a father. And similarly, we love Krishna as he is in his eternal abode, in the form of Shyama Sundara. The Vishvarupa was shown to Arjuna to warn those rascals who claim, I am God. Arjuna asked to see the Vishvarupa so that in the future we may have some criterion by which to test rascals who claim to be God. In other words, if someone says, I am God, we can simply reply, if you are God, please show me your Vishvarupa. And we can rest assured that such rascals cannot display this form. I'm particularly bothered or irritated by all of these so-called, self-proclaimed gods, really, like Krishna. Yes, of course, Arjuna was offering all respects to the Vishvarupa form. This is a natural quality of a devotee. A devotee even respects Durga, Maya, because Maya is Krishna's energy. If we respect Krishna, we respect everyone, even an ant. Therefore, Brahma prays, Srishti sthiti pralaya sadhana shaktir eka chayeva yasya bhuvanani bibrati Durga ichanurupamapi yasya chacheshtate sa Govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Quote, the external potency, Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit spiritual potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving, and destroying agency of this mundane world. I worship the primeval Lord, Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. Unquote. Brahma Samhita 5.44. Thus, when we pray to Krishna, we pray to Durga immediately, because Durga is his energy. And when we pray to Durga, we are actually praying to Krishna, because she is working under the direction of Krishna. When the devotee sees the activities of Maya, he sees Krishna immediately, thinking, oh, Maya is acting so nicely under the direction of Krishna. When one offers respect to a policeman, he is actually offering respect to the government. Durga, the material energy, is so powerful that she can create, annihilate, and maintain. But in all cases, she is acting under Krishna's directions. Through bhakti, pure devotion to Krishna, we can leave the association of Maya and be promoted to the eternal association of Krishna. Some of the Gopas, Krishna's friends, are eternal associates, and others are promoted to that elevated eternal position. If only the eternal associates of Krishna can play with him and others cannot, then what is the meaning of becoming Krishna conscious? We can also become eternal associates of Krishna through pious deeds executed in many, many lives. Actually, in the Vrindavan manifest in this world, the associates of Krishna are mainly conditioned living entities who have been promoted to the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. Thus promoted, they are first of all allowed to see Krishna on the planet where Krishna's pastimes are being enacted. After this, they are promoted to the transcendental Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual sky, Therefore, it is stated in the Bhagavatam 10.12.11, Krita Punya Punja. Bhakti Yoga means connecting ourselves with Krishna, God, and becoming His eternal associates. Bhakti Yoga cannot be applied to any other objective. Therefore, in Buddhism, for instance, there is no Bhakti Yoga, because they do not recognize the Supreme Lord existing as the supreme objective. Christians, however, practice Bhakti Yoga when they worship Jesus Christ, because they are accepting Him as the Son of God and are therefore accepting God. Unless one accepts God, there is no question of Bhakti Yoga. Christianity, therefore, is a form of Vaishnavism, because God is recognized. Nonetheless, there are different stages of God realization. Mainly, Christianity says God is great, and that is a very good assertion, but the actual greatness of God can be understood from the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. One moment. Oh yes. Okay. Accepting the greatness of God is the beginning of Bhakti. Bhakti Yoga also exists among the Mohammedans, because God is the target in the Muslim religion. However, when there is no recognition of a personal God, in other words, when there is only impersonalism, there is no question of Bhakti Yoga. One second. Summertime has come. So, Bhakti Yoga must include these three items: the servitor, the served, and service. One must be present to accept service, and one must be present to render service. The VIA media is the process of service itself, Bhakti Yoga. Now, if there is no one to accept that service, how is Bhakti Yoga possible? Therefore, if a philosophy or religion does not accept God as the Supreme Person, there is no possibility of Bhakti Yoga being applied. In the Bhakti Yoga process, the role of the spiritual master is most important and essential. The role of the spiritual master. I think we're going to stop here for today. We will conclude on the topic of being engaged in service, being the servitor, and serving the person, the personality of Godhead. And tomorrow we shall read about the role of the spiritual master, which is important and essential in Bhakti Yoga process. So, thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description, as well as our website link. Please check them out, share them with your friends, and we shall see you next time. Hare Krishna. Oh yeah, I mentioned that it's summertime, but actually we live in Mayapur. We're based in Sri Mayapur Dham in India, and right now it's the end of March and it's quite hot in here, so that's why I mentioned that it's summer. It's spring the rest of the world, but here it's quite. Yeah, by the way, please come to Sri Dham Mayapur, and this is the educational center in ISKCON, and yes, so this is a spontaneous invitation to come and see. There is a TOVP, Temple of the Vedic Planetarium, which is being built, and it will be one of the biggest attractions in India, you can say, because it will be quite fantastic that the cosmic creation will be explained from the Vedic perspective, and it's something very, very fascinating that's coming up. So, invitation to Sri Mayapur Dham, please come. Wintertime, it's not so hot, it's a little bit more cool, but Mayapur is beautiful and wonderful in any season. So, Hare Krishna.